Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from the Korman Productions Deep Dive TV podcast with my co-host Stacie, here to talk about Revival, Season 1, Episode 5, titled Triage. And my co-host Stacie was very surprised that I actually knew how to pronounce that word, but
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the concept. The description reads as follows: with Dana's fate uncertain, Wayne searches for answers as M races the clock to save her. The series was created by Aaron Kuntz and Luke Boyce. The episode was written by Heather Taylor. I believe this is her first stint on the series. The episode was directed by Amanda Rowe, the 5th episode in a row. We're beyond the point of calling this a block, I'm pretty sure. So I'm pretty sure that she's going to direct most of the episodes this season, if not all of them. Before going further, I'll tell you a couple things. One, this is not a spoiler review podcast. If you haven't watched the episode, I highly recommend you go check it out, and then come back and give us a listen. Secondly, if you're listening on one of the platforms of this podcast now available on, please follow. And feel free to check out our YouTube channel, Korman Productions, where additional content can be discovered. If you're already on our YouTube channel, please like, share, and comment, and subscribe to our channel. We do have a shout out. One comment from Deb Burry, who said, very interesting. The episode was very interesting to her. And all right, so Stacie, your thoughts on this week's episode?
Well, the first thing I want to say is you mentioned the writer Heather Taylor. Yes. Heather is actually in our Facebook group.
Yes, oh, that's pretty cool.
The Facebook group. The Facebook group for Revival. If you guys are not in this group and you're on Facebook, you need to go join my group. It's starting to grow. The group is called Revival SyFy Series Fans. And not only do we have the creators, Luke and Aaron are in the group. Now we have another writer, Heather Taylor. We have some of the actors in the group. We have a whole bunch of crew and production people in the group. And it's kind of insane that I keep seeing all these names and I'm like, oh, look, that there they are.
Yep.
And it's blowing my mind. So if you want to be somewhere where you can talk about the show and the people that make the show are there to see what you have to say about it, come join my Facebook group. That's where we're going to have these conversations. Let's do it.
You absolutely should. And I will say, I don't know what the ratings for this show are. What the streaming numbers are. I know the live numbers aren't good, but the streaming numbers is where they're mainly looking. I have no idea what they are at this point. If the show is getting any kind of traction. I do know that what I do see from people who have watched the show, that it's generally pretty positive reviews from both critics and fans.
Right.
Like it's rated pretty highly on Internet Movie Database. I think the last episode was like in 8.0 something, which doesn't mean anything, but nevertheless, it seems like that people do like the show who have actually seen it.
Right. I think this is one of those shows that a lot of people haven't heard about it yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we're recording episode 5 right now, so we're halfway through, but as of when we are right now in time, like episode 3 just dropped on Peacock.
Right.
So the show's still getting its footing at this point, and I'm really hoping that more people continue to find it week after week and jump on, because it's a really good show. I'm very much enjoying it. One other thing I wanted to do is do a shout out for The Institute.
Yes,
which is airing the first 2 episodes this Sunday, July 13th on MGM Plus. So that should be in just a couple days from now, as of when this one's going to drop. If I did my math right.
You confused me for a moment. Like, wait, that's this weekend? And then I realized, oh yeah, this is going to drop Thursday of next. So yeah,
we time travel a lot here. It gets confusing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that is a show on MGM Plus, based on a novel by Stephen King. It has Jack Bender directing it, filmed in Nova Scotia. And if you like The Institute, I'm guessing you're going to like, if you like Revival, I'm guessing you're going to like something like The Institute. Go check that out as well. And we're going to be covering that series weekly too. And you can start to see now how busy and crazy we are.
I
The
mean,
other
so far
thing,
we're managing it. We didn't think we were slightly concerned that we might lose our minds, but so far we are managing okay.
I mean, my mind's a little lost.
Yeah, you forgot for
Just
a
a
moment
little
which
bit.
series you were even talking about, but
It's
yeah.
gonna happen, okay? I also want to mention one other thing. I've been posting in my group and on my socials some press photos from this series. So far, I've posted photos from episodes 1, 2, and 3 with the direction to caption this photo, wrong answers only. So we've got some humorous responses. And we're going to just show some of those in our visuals while we talk about this episode.
Sounds good. All right. Did you happen to mention what you thought of this episode?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
So out of the 5 episodes, I feel like this one's a little weaker for me. I feel like we hit kind of a slowdown point. Like there was a lot of action and things happening last week, and now I feel like maybe this one's just a little bit less. I definitely liked some things in it. Maybe the problem for me is that Dana's just in a hospital bed the whole episode, so she's not really doing much.
And she's the character you most like at this point?
Well, she's like the lead, like we've been following her very closely, and she feels kind of absent at this point. So,
I mean, yeah. I will say that this episode, it has some good scenes. And I'm actually kind of surprised the last couple of weeks they actually turned Wayne into an interesting character.
Yeah.
The first couple of episodes, I wasn't thrilled with him. I don't think I specifically said so, but all he was doing was really yelling and shouting. But they've added some nuance to his character to the point where you're not really sure what he's going to do in a situation. And that makes him kind of fascinating in the sense that he has this really strong belief system against revivers. And they keep putting him into situations that kind of challenge those beliefs. Now, if he's going to make a turnaround, this episode does not demonstrate it. But there is a moment where you would think that he might react differently, specifically that scene with Abraham and his coworker, whose name I've forgotten.
Carla.
Carla, yes. Yeah, you might think that he might take the position the other way, but then he actually surprises you a little bit. So they've actually kind of turned him into kind of an interesting person. It's actively interesting to watch him at this point. Whereas I really did not feel that way the first couple of episodes. And that's not the actor. I do appreciate the actor's work in the past, but I just wasn't feeling Wayne up until the last couple of weeks. Not that I agree with him in any kind of way, but he's interesting.
Okay. I like the stuff that we get, but probably my favorite part of this episode is the stuff we get between M and K.
Yes.
There's some good humor there. I appreciate that. But also I feel like maybe that wasn't her best options all along that storyline. Like, well, couldn't you have done this instead? Couldn't you have done that instead? So I'm having a hard time following that, this is your choices, but it's funny and I am enjoying watching it. So
the one thing I was kind of confused by, I guess she's done with Rhodey at this point because he's not in this episode at all.
He's not in this episode. I don't think she's done with him. I feel like he's going to pop up again in the next week or two. But in this moment, so remember the last time she saw him, she
she was basically
she was going to meet up with she was following Aaron, and basically she wanted to kill him. That's the mind frame she was in. She's like, I'm gonna go get revenge against this dude that I think killed me. And Rhodey was like, that's not a good idea. And she was like, screw you, I don't need you. Right. So I think she doesn't want to admit to him that he was right and it wasn't a good idea.
Okay.
So absolutely, I think she should have went to him in this episode. He would have been the person to help with all of this.
I definitely think he was the wrong person.
Yeah, I think she just, was feeling like she didn't want to admit that she was wrong. But also, I think he'll be back. I have no doubt he'll be back soon.
This episode kind of insinuates that M doesn't actually feel pain anymore. We get.
She winced a little bit, but I definitely think she's kind of used to it.
So that's interesting. So she's maybe in the same level of pain, but it's not something that bothers her anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is part of pain just knowing the danger of it?
Maybe.
And once you
And maybe we could
faced like,
that.
hey, I can't die and any wound's just going to heal immediately, maybe the level of the pain changes, like your tolerance increases just based on the psychology of knowing that you're fine. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying. That's interesting. Okay.
Because we meet another character, or we are reintroduced to another character this episode who's definitely feeling pain.
Yes, yes, he definitely is. That's where I was kind of confused. But yeah, do we have anything else to say before diving in?
Let's go for it.
All right. So the episode begins with Dana on a hospital gurney, remembering what happened to her in the woods and kind of reminding us as well. Her family waits for news nervously about her surgery, though they are told that the bullet hit nothing vital. Wayne takes off to basically work this case, and we have more flashes, basically going backwards to some little non-linear storytelling. Abraham coming to help Dana in the woods. Dana is still conscious. Once again, aims to protect her sister by telling Abraham that M wasn't there, basically saying, "Hey, look, do not mention the fact that M was here." And
And
then we
he very reluctantly agrees to that. Then we have our opening credits. The doctor who was telling them, like, hey, it missed all the major organs, but she's going into surgery. That was Dr. Weisner, played by Patricia Leger. She was in 8 episodes of In Decline, as well as the movie The Phantoms.
Okay. So the next day, Brent may or may not be Carlisle, may or may not be Gunderson.
Yeah, he's just Brent to me until we hear otherwise.
Right. Does not want to include Wayne in anything, but Wayne is not having that. He's like, he's basically like, hey, look, if you think you're going to keep me out of this, you're a fool. Brent suggests that it was a single shooter, and basically there was some kind of tussle over Dana's gun. Wayne thinks someone else was there. Brent suggests that he will keep him updated as much as possible, but they have to keep up some appearances. Basically like, hey, look, there's a conflict of interest here, and we need to keep you out.
Right. And I understand that. Like, it's Wayne's daughter. She right now is implemented as being possibly responsible. The only bullets they found came from her gun. So it makes sense that he can't like lead the investigation. But also at the same time, like, I don't see them sending in state police or internal affairs, the people who you would expect to lead this. They're not sending them.
Right.
So is Brent capable of leading the investigation? Is he even like the second in command here? Or does he
there is nothing in the previous 4 episodes that would suggest that he's capable of running an investigation like this. Right. I mean, in the past episodes, he's kind of come off as kind of a doofus, and he looks like a doofus. But I mean, maybe we'll get some more hints of his capabilities than we've gotten to this point.
But I mean, obviously Wayne's a conflict of interest, but wouldn't Brent also be a conflict of interest? He sits next to her. He's basically her partner from what we've seen. Like, of all the officers, he's the one closest to her.
Yeah, I think the officer that you might want to have running this is the character played by Nathan Dales, whose name I can't recall. McCrae. But I mean, he also comes off as a doofus and incapable of leading an investigation.
Exactly. The truth is, they would send in somebody else, state police or internal affairs who's supposed to, investigate police involved incidents. But they're not doing that because of the quarantine. But like, why not? We sent in the governor came in, we sent in the CDC. So why and we questioned this before, even before this incident, like, why are there not other investigative branches here to help just with the Reviver stuff?
That's not the only time that problem occurs to me in this episode. And we'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah, in reality, none of these people would be leading this investigation if they think there's a cop involved shooting. If that was somehow the case and there's some kind of nefarious stuff going on with cops. But so Brent interviews Abraham, who seems to be in shock. Abraham does what he said he would do and keeps M out of it. There's a knock at the door revealing that Dana is out of surgery, so that's good news.
And this is a new character, a new cop we're meeting. This is Deputy Fitzpatrick. He's played by Jimmy McKinley. Jimmy was in an episode of Trailer Park Boys Jail, 5 episodes of a show called Car Wash Wars. And Jimmy McKinney is in our Facebook group.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hi, Jimmy. Okay, so Abraham goes to the hospital and talks to M in the hospital room. He says that he covered for her, but he wants to know what happened. She tells Abraham what she knows, what she experienced. Abraham says he's lying for Dana, not for M, but he's a bad liar, and if pressed, he's going to crack. M says she will figure this out and to trust her, and then she notices, she goes into the bathroom or something, and notices that the bullet is still in her.
Right. So this confirms we were confused about this at the end of the last episode, like who got shot. Dana was the one shot. It went through Dana and it landed inside M and did not come out the other side. And she healed around it.
So we cut to Wayne. He's telling his daughter M that the working theory is that this is Dana's fault. Wayne tells M that he knows there's more going on here than what it looks like. M is trying to get info so that she herself can investigate. And then Lester tries to come in. First time we've seen him in a couple episodes, but is told quickly by Wayne to get out because he's a jackass.
Yeah. And, you know, Jeannie, who we know is dating Lester, it is just kind of like, oh, he wants to talk to you. You think she'd be a little more persistent and be like, he has information about your daughter's case.
Right.
They make it sound like he wants to talk to him about the horse or something.
some random nonsense.
That we just keep brushing him off. Right. And by the way, Lester, again, is played by Peter Millard. He is also in the Facebook group.
Nice. Abraham's assistant has the...
Miles Miller.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have perp here. The perp that Dana caught. Yes.
Miles Miller. We last saw him in episode 1.
Yep. And it seems like she's preparing to experiment on him and then proceeds to torture him. So this is kind of getting dark.
Cuts a piece of his flesh off.
Yes.
From his arm. Now, in episode 1, remember, we saw a piece of reviver flesh. You and I were questioning where the heck did that come from?
Right.
So now we're seeing how something like that is obtained. She literally just cuts it off with a scalpel. He's screaming. So obviously he's feeling pain.
Right. And maybe it goes to the psychological thing in that he's in an uncertain situation with a person he does not know.
Right.
And anything could happen here. And that's why perhaps maybe he feels more pain than M does throughout the episode.
Right. Because she's made the decision for these things to happen to her. She's braced for them. And she's like, I'm going to do what I have to do to protect my sister.
Right. So Mayor DeLish shows up in Wayne's office to give him crap for not keeping his wife off the list. Wayne thinks he has to look big picture on the off chance one of the revivers snaps. And he's basically like, look, I'm the sheriff. I have to look out for everyone. And it's really funny to me that Wayne completely misses the irony that everyone should also include looking out for the revivers as well. But he means everyone but them, basically.
At the same time, though, it is true that he shouldn't be treating Diane differently just because she's the mayor's wife. The problem is how you're treating the revivers in general, not the fact that we're putting Diane on the list. She should be on the list, but the list shouldn't mean they're getting treated like third-class citizens.
Yes, it comes down to like him not treating Diane differently is morally and ethically consistent. He's not being a hypocrite when it comes to a friend. But at the same time, they should reconsider how they're going about this as far as the treatment of the revivers. They should also be looking out for the revivers as well. They are still people that are citizens in his town, his jurisdiction.
If anything, they should be focusing on protecting the revivers, knowing that there are citizens who are against them.
Yes, exactly.
Now, also, I find it a little interesting, though, that Delish wants to treat his wife differently than the others, keep her name out of things. These are things that, wouldn't look good to come out, that the mayor is hiding a secret like that.
Well, it kind of undermines his position a little bit in the sense that he's very vocal of being for the revivers, for giving them fair treatment. And it definitely undermines his position that he's, one, married to a reviver, and two, hidden that fact. So it definitely hurts his point of view, at least as far as voters are concerned, at least as far as citizens are concerned. Even though
it would be a lot worse if Wayne did hide this and then later it comes out that he was hiding it the whole time. That would have looked a lot worse for both Wayne and Delish.
Right. At the same time, Wayne basically goes on to say that Diane is dead and gone, and he doesn't know who replaced her, but this is not Diane. So if he's having a turnaround in his opinion of revivers, that's not indicated in the scene at all. Right. But yeah, basically, he claims he would still do this if it's someone he loved. We'll see. We'll definitely see when the whole secret about M comes out, how he acts towards that. Delish says that he has one daughter in anger management and another accused of murder. So the last bit of goodness died with Patty. Okay, that's a little unfair on Delish's part, because we know the reason why M is angry. We also know that Dana is not a killer, that she's not actually the one who, is the one who killed Aaron.
Sure. But I mean, Delish doesn't necessarily know either of those things.
Fair enough. And at this point, he's just pissed off at Wayne and trying to hurt him in any way he can.
Right.
So Wayne gets pissed, gets in his face, Delish's face, and Delish is not the least bit intimidated. He says, "Give it your best shot. I know who you really are, and I'm going to make sure you don't get reelected." So is that an indication to us that Wayne is not actually a good guy?
We know that he thinks Wayne is a terrible person for treating the revivers like this and for wanting the authority to lock them up and all that.
Is that all there is to it, though? Or is there something else that he knows about Wayne?
We know there's the Black Deer case, and we don't know much about that. But there's definitely this insinuation that the Cypress family was involved in covering something up. That it feels like Delish knows they did something shady. Okay. I feel like that's maybe what that's about.
Gotcha.
And also, though, I find it funny that he's like, I'm going to make sure you don't get reelected. But again, Delish is also an elected official. And if it got out there that he's trying to hide his wife, that would also be a reason for him not to get reelected.
Right. It's actually kind of curious who has more credibility at this point, the mayor or Wayne. It actually is kind of curious. The question is, who are the people on the side of, as far as the revivers are concerned?
And I think that's where it falls, is there's two camps here,
Yeah.
And that's what it is what do people think of the revivers?
Mm-hmm. All right. So M talks to roommate about Kay, about Aaron, and she basically like, oh yeah, he's dead. And she lies to her about what happened. She doesn't exactly speak the truth.
Yeah, she says, oh, he was dead when we found him. I found it kind of not a great idea that M is just telling everyone different stories.
Yeah.
Like, I get that we're not telling the truth, but you're telling too many different versions of the lie. This is going to wrap around and bite you.
So she needs her help and doesn't know who she can trust. My note here is Rhodey done, because she doesn't go to him, but we've already talked about that.
Yeah, she definitely should have went to Rhodey. Kay is not the person for this. So she recruits Kay to cut open her back and retrieve the bullet, because the bullet is evidence that there was another gun involved that wasn't Dana, and it could lead them to the shooter. And she's trying to retrieve the bullet and plant it at the crime scene before they go and recanvass it tomorrow.
So M is very blasé during this situation about her digging around for a bullet inside her. But yeah, Kay basically does not enjoy this experience, and she ends up going to vomit after she manages to get the bullet out.
Yeah, and the whole scene's hilarious. I love this scene. I love these two characters together. I hope we get to see more of them acting like this, like good roommates, because it's funny. I had gotten the indication before that they really weren't very good friends.
Yeah.
But Kay seems to be a good friend in this episode, just kind of going along with everything M asks her to do. And even though the whole
to a rather insane degree, by the way.
Right.
Some of the things she's being asked to do is crazy.
Yeah.
And could get, burn her if she gets caught doing it.
Right. But yeah, she's not making great decisions in this episode, but they're funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kay makes the cut, and then she's moving too fast, right? She's like squeamish about it, and Em's like, just get your hands in there and get it. It's healing already.
Right.
It's really.
You want to get your hands stuck in there, that's for sure. So the reviver we saw last week, this is who again? The older woman?
This is Wanda.
Wanda, okay. She's talking in a support group for revival.
Nella is running. Okay, Nella's running the support group for some reason.
Right. I was confused. I wasn't totally sure this was Nella because I didn't understand why she would be running this group.
Yeah. So she's running the support
group. Or some other new character.
She is not a reviver herself, but she's running the support group. I don't know. Maybe she has experience as a counselor or something.
Maybe.
So she's running the support group. It would have made more sense if it was like Mrs. Weiner running the group or something.
That would make sense.
But that's not the case.
Here in this episode, I'm actually kind of curious if we're going to see her at all again.
I'm sure we will, because the story doesn't seem done.
Right.
And we know Erin's gone, so she's got to pop back up again to be like, what the heck is their part of this? But yeah, so Nella's running the support group. Wanda's there. She's talking about how she knows she's herself. Another character we've already met before, the butcher, Damon Manning. Remember, he was the reviver that was interviewed on TV in episode 1.
Yes.
He speaks out and he says he used to think God had a plan, but now it feels like something is missing inside him and it's lonely. So they're kind of taking different viewpoints. Wanda's like, I'm me, I'm myself, everything's perfect. And he's like, well, I feel a little empty. I feel like maybe he's not saying he doesn't think he's him, but he's saying something is off inside of me. And, Jordan had said something similar previously too.
Yes.
She's not in this episode.
I'm not sure what that indicates exactly. That's also kind of a symptom of depression.
Sure.
Like that way. So it could just be a psychological problem rather than actually meaning anything that he's actually missing something. And the same with Jordan as well. But yeah, it could mean something bigger. So Blaine ends up coming in with his posse.
Yeah, he's got all his disciples with him. They're carrying weapons. Yeah. It's a very strange, like, oh, we're just gonna storm in on your support group.
What exactly is the point of this?
Yeah, right. They know they can't kill them. They just want to like torture them.
I guess.
I'm not sure what they're planning on doing, but they're like, oh, you should thank us, Nella, because we're here to save you from these savages or whatever.
Right. He refers to these people as demons. And the person that you were just talking about, what was his name again?
Damon.
Danny, okay.
Damon,
okay. So Damon gets up and basically confronts them. And Blaine is not impressed by this. He says he will be sending him back to hell. An attack happens. There's basically a fight that breaks out. And the man, Damon, he seems to have some kind of super strength. Or at least more strength than you would figure that he would have.
It's definitely super strength that he's exhibiting. So Tyler Barrow, the younger kid, steps forward and says to Damon not to hurt Blaine. He jumps in and Damon pushes Tyler. Tyler gets hurt. And Damon's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that." Like, he's surprised. He didn't know he had this strength.
So Blaine says, "Oh, this is you showing your true colors," and he is coming for them.
Yeah.
What exactly does he think he's going to do? If they can't hurt, then
collect them all and imprison them all and just torture them all day.
I guess.
I don't know. I don't know what his plan is, but it's not good.
Yeah, definitely not. M hatches a plan where she plants the bullet to make it look like the bullet went through Aaron instead. And basically this is going to help find the killer because they're not going to happen to match up this bullet.
So she wants to get Aaron's blood on the bullet before planting it. So they go to Randy's crematorium. And this is our first time seeing Randy since episode 1. I kind of love him, I think. He's a very funny and interesting character, I find.
You think he knows of your feelings?
What?
You think he knows of your feelings?
I don't think so. But M's whole plan here is just ridiculous. So she slashes their tire, has Kay pretend to be stranded so that Randy will change her tire while she sneaks in, finds the body, and puts the blood on the bullet. Why are we doing all of this?
Yeah, it seems overly elaborate.
First of all, this is the bullet that went through her and Dana, not the bullet that actually went through Weimer.
Right, but you also want to find the killer or not the killer, Dana. You want to find the person who shot Dana as well.
Right, but that's the same person who shot Weimer. I get that. But wouldn't it have been easier to get Dana's blood to put on this bullet than to get Aaron's blood?
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, all you had to do is go prick your sister's finger. She's unconscious, and you'd have the blood.
Well, I think just getting Dana's blood on it does not make it so that Dana is no longer a suspect.
It would, because it's a different bullet that didn't come from her gun, and it would show that it's the bullet that shot her, not her gun. It would prove that somebody shot her.
Yes, but not necessarily that same person shot Aaron. It could have been the case where Dana shot Aaron and someone else shot Dana. So
I guess. Speaking of which, where is Aaron's bullet? Is it just lost in the woods?
I would assume it's still in him.
If it was in him, Randy should have found it.
Fair enough, but Randy's kind of incompetent at the same time, so maybe he's just not very good.
Are we just saying Randy sucks?
Maybe.
This is Randy's fault, this one?
All right, so yeah, if we have Aaron's blood, or not blood, if we have Aaron's bullet, we should already be running that through ballistics.
Right.
And at least find the person who killed Aaron, or at least prove that it wasn't Dana.
And they don't, because they said the only bullet they found were the ones that came from Dana's gun, which are the ones Kay shot. Or the ones M shot. Jesus. The ones M shot. And actually hit the assailant.
Yes.
So if they found those bullets, shouldn't the assailant's blood be on those ones?
If they found those bullets, they found the one who shot the assailant?
I don't know if you can hear that. We've got people lighting firecrackers. We're recording this on the 4th of July. Sorry, folks.
Happy 4th of July.
We know they found bullets that belonged to Dana's gun. That's why they think she was the only gun.
Right.
And those were the bullets that shot the assailant.
Okay, so that doesn't help her any.
So they should have the blood on it, though, from the person who did get shot. Should they not?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm afraid I'm not quite smart enough to be able to wrap my mind around that exactly. But yeah. So moving along from that.
She gets the blood. She successfully puts Aaron's blood on the bullet. Kay comes in and almost throws up again. And she's like, "Oh, Randy's busy with the tire. I told him I had to use the bathroom." And Em goes, "Oh, that would have been easier to just ask to use the bathroom than to slash a hole in our tire."
So now they have to replace that tire, which, is a good $100 at least. They're college students and they're not made of money.
Well, they had a spare tire, obviously, because Randy's changing it. That's what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But yeah, still, you wasted a tire to do this.
I mean, if it's a donut, then you're not supposed to drive on that for too long, and you have to replace it eventually. But
I don't think we're going to get any further details on their car.
No,
Whose car is
I'm
this?
pretty
Is this
sure.
Kay's car? Does she have a car?
I'm not sure. But anyway, moving along. Wayne goes to Dana and asks for help. She's still unconscious at this point. He has no leads. He says it was probably all his fault that he did not come to her. He was basically like, if you were in trouble, why didn't you say something to me? He says that their mom always thought that she was too hard on her. He was just trying to get her on the right path. And he tells her she needs to come out of this. So some more subtle work for Wayne, who's been mostly a jackass for most of the series. We're starting to get the human side of this character. Brent fills Wayne in on more info that it appears Aaron was choked. Brent blames Randy for something, not exactly sure.
I think they were saying his effects went missing for a moment, but they found him now, and that's when they found the text on his phone.
Yes. And he reveals the last text from Aaron was to Dana. And he reads the text. M goes to the scene to plant the bullet with Kay. And Kay has apparently learned something because she impresses M with her knowledge of how exactly to go about this. And it's very interesting that M knows how to set the scene like this. I guess she's been paying attention to Dana for
I mean, her dad's the sheriff, her sister's the cop, so.
And she gets a text that Dana is awake. And then they start to hear that the cops coming, so they have to hightail it out of there so they're not caught at the scene. Kind of defeats the purpose.
You would think if they weren't done canvassing this scene, there would have been someone here straight along to make sure the scene's not compromised.
Right.
Again, these people are not competent to be running this case.
No. Abraham is trying to find the reason for an algae bloom, but he thinks the creek is ground zero for Revival Day. Wayne stops by wanting more details about what he saw the night Dana was shot, and he quickly deduces that Abraham did in fact say something. He starts to get in his face, and in all honesty, Abraham is probably about to crack here, but he doesn't get a chance to tell his story because they're interrupted by a shout. And the shouting is from the reviver, Miles, being tortured by Carla. The assistant is testing pathogens, and it turns out she found something that can slow down the healing properties of revivers. Abraham thinks this is inhumane, and you would think, given Wayne's attitudes up to this point, that he would be on the side of Carla. But he takes the side of Abraham and says, hey, look, let's just slow down on this. Okay, let's not do. He's clearly uncomfortable with the
is he's literally seeing this person being tortured. I bet if he was just told about these findings later, he'd have been like, "That's cool, great information, keep going." But the fact that he had to be in the room and witness this person literally being tortured and screaming, "Please stop," maybe made him go, "Oh, maybe this is a bad idea."
Yes, and we're getting into medical ethics, like what kind of testing should be permitted on human beings, and so on and so forth.
And the idea is this isn't going to kill him, but we are torturing this person. He is pleading for them to stop because it is painful. And what they're doing is they're injecting him with deadly portions of snake venom.
Yeah.
And they found that it has slowed the healing. So this could be helpful in stopping a rogue reviver, like in the instance when we were trying to stop Arlene. And I mean, I agree. Maybe that's a good thing to know, right? That could help you in dangerous situations. But I feel that Wayne made a good call here to be like, maybe let's take a step back.
All right. But at the same time, what exact authority does Wayne have over the CDC? Does he have any authority?
He's in charge of the Reviver Task Force.
Okay. So he does have some kind of authority.
I mean, he is the most authoritative person in town.
Okay. And again, that's not the only time I'm going to have this problem. A little while later, I'm an even bigger problem. But all right. So M sits with Dana in the hospital. Dana ends up making fun of her new haircut.
Which hasn't grown back, by the way.
Yes. They both question what the other was doing that night there. Em says she was wanted to kill Aaron, but she didn't. She mentions that she fired back at what the assailant and hit him. And Em blames herself for Dana's near death. She doesn't know what she would have done if she lost her too. That would have added to her guilt complex because she already feels responsible for killing her mother.
Right.
Dana says they'll figure this out together. Em says it's time for her to take care of Dana instead. So we cut to Lester, who's apparently saw someone in the woods who was suspicious. He tells Wayne that he heard the shots. And from Wayne's description, he realizes that it's a cop who was sneaking around the woods. All right, at the same time, don't they already know that? If they suspect that Dana was the one there, then yes, it was a cop that was there.
Well, no, he's saying he saw the person in a black ski mask leaving the scene.
Right. Yeah, okay. And then Lester says, they shouldn't sell those. It should be illegal.
And also, right before that, we had JP, the other deputy. By the way, this is our first time seeing him since episode 2. He told Wayne that they did find the new bullet. So they do know now that another person was there.
Okay. So he reveals this info to Brent. Wayne wants the ballistics run on everyone's gun, except including Brent's. But I'm going to ask, what if Brent is guilty of something here? Like, at this point, you're asking him to turn over his gun for ballistics,
right?
For in the off chance that he might be part of this. But if he is guilty, is he gonna really turn over the gun that shot these people? So
yeah, this is where, like what we were saying earlier, like we really need internal affairs to be running this investigation.
Yeah.
We need some outside force to come take over, and they're not doing that.
So Dr. Morrell goes over Abraham's head to the governor. This is Carla once again, and Abraham's is not fired.
And they're on like a Zoom call.
Yeah, he's basically demoted, and now Dr. Carla Morrell is in charge. All right, so I'm going to ask, what authority does the government have on making like personnel changes within the CDC?
Right. Shouldn't this go to like their CDC bosses?
Right. Like the CDC is a federal agency. The CDC director is appointed by the president of the United States, not the governor.
Right.
So the governor, I don't think, has the authority to make this call to just demote Abraham and promote somebody. I don't think she has that authority.
Yeah, he should be getting on the phone with some bosses in Washington and getting some clarification. But I feel like we're existing in a bubble where the rest of the world doesn't exist. We're pretending like these are the only players in the game.
So the weapons are gathered. And we see the assailant that we saw in the previous episode that we're going on the assumption is what the Black Deer.
Jesse Black Deer. And that feels right. Again, Brandon Oakes is credited in the episode.
Yeah, so he's looking for files. I'm not sure what file he happens upon.
So the box says Black Deer case, the whole box.
Okay.
And then he's looking in a particular file from that box. And we see the name Jesse Black Deer for the very first time in the series is listed in the file as suspect. So it says suspect Jesse Black Deer. And then we see a missing persons poster for the teen Rose Black Deer, which relates to that newspaper article we had previously seen. I don't know where he is, where these records are being taken from, but he takes that one file with him.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I was like, where are we? What are we doing? Whose place is this? Like, it didn't look like the police station. Nobody was around.
And we definitely know it's the same guy as was sneaking around Aaron Weimer's house, because
yes, this is the same person who took the flash drive.
And because we clearly see the messed up face underneath the mask.
Right. It's definitely the same person that took the flash drive, who we were told was hired by whoever Aaron was on the phone with to break into his house. But if this is Jesse Black Deer, this is obviously personal.
Yes.
Not that he's hired for this part.
Right.
But the person on the phone could have been lying. We don't even know who the person on the phone was, so who knows? Yeah, I don't know what this is about. That's obviously the Black Deer case is important, and we don't know why yet.
Right. So we cut to Blaine, who's having some kind of cult meeting. The young one is going to become one of them, Tyler, by being burned. We see a glowing thing that groans. I'm pretty sure this is the same whatever thing that was reaching out to Jordan in the last episode.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, he reaches for it and he screams in pain. So you were going to say what?
Well, so Blaine sends Tyler into this room away from everybody else to get branded by the light. They call it the guiding light is what they call it. And when Tyler walks into the room, he has this look on his face. He looks fascinated and a little horrified. Like there's something to this other than, oh, it's a light or a fire, you know? And then he, like you said, he puts his hand to it and it brands him. But what the heck does Blaine have hiding in this place? Is this some kind of being? Is it an energy force? But we're hearing the sounds and the lights, like you said, just like there were in the woods.
Well, it seems like he's whatever this thing is connected to the revivers in some way, possibly maybe even the cause.
Right.
And it's gotten out. It hasn't always been in this one place that this cult place is.
Unless that's something else related to this and not necessarily like this as a physical being.
Right. Okay.
Or it could be multiple things that are the same.
It's possible, but what would Blaine be doing with it?
Obviously, it's something that they see as sacred, that this is what they're using to brand themselves. This is the basis of their whole little cult. I don't get it. I really don't get it, but it's creepy.
Yes, I guess we'll have to continue watching and find out.
And meanwhile, all of the other disciples or followers or crazy people, whatever you want to call them, they're chanting, they're playing the drums. This is a very organized ceremony, welcoming Tyler into their fold. You know, even though he's been with them like the last 2 episodes, he's officially a member now. Is what they're doing. They're like, you know, baptizing him into the group. Among them, by the way, are Doug and Brandon, again, played by Sheldon Garland and Michael Stafford, both of which are in the Facebook group.
Nice. That's why you're shouting them out again.
That's it. It.
Oh, whoop. All right. So Abraham brings Dana a gift, which is candy and a coloring book, which he laughs at, saying, "Hey, I'm a grown-ass adult. What am I going to do with a coloring book?" Abraham covers for himself, and I'm pretty sure that he's lying here, but he says it's for Cooper. I'm pretty sure he meant he might be just, you know, playing along with the joke, but he suggests that the coloring book is for Cooper and not Dana, but I don't think it was. I think it was.
No, it definitely was for her. And you know what? It was a thoughtful gift. She's stuck in a hospital bed. He's giving her an activity to keep her mind busy.
Right. She tells him she can't tell him what's going on, but, you know, basically why she had him lie about M, but it was for a good reason. They laugh together. He mentions that, I don't know, what he says is kind of weird. Like, it sounds like he's saying it was a good day.
He was saying this is the best part of his day.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't quite catch his wording, but...
He was basically trying to say, like, I had a crappy day, but you're making it better.
And he says that he's not going to have a job for much longer. And she's like, "Oh, are you leaving?" And he says, no, he's going to stick around. I'm not sure if he intends to keep working at the CDC or if he's going to quit.
He wasn't fired. He was just said, hey, the other chick's in charge.
But he also said that he might not have a job for much longer. So does that mean he's going to quit?
I think maybe he knows he's not going to just let them do what she wants to do. He's going to push back and thinks he's going to get himself fired.
Okay.
Maybe.
But he also says he's not going to leave. So even if he doesn't have a job anymore, he intends to stick around. He says he would love another date. without the gun this time. You know, Abraham, you're just no fun. I mean, anyway. So we cut to commit Deputy McCrae. He's singing in his car. And then we hear police sirens. This is not good news for him. Brent comes into the room and tells Dana that Deputy McCrae was actually the shooter. And they apparently, and he's like, you will never guess what we found on the dude. And we cut to McCrae's car. They open the trunk. And in the trunk is containers of ice. The kind of containers you would have for like a heart transplant. And what he brings out of this container is a foot.
A human foot.
I don't know what this is all about exactly, but that container was something that you would see in like if you're like if you're bringing a heart to the hospital,
right?
It's filled with ice. So it's some kind of transplant black market organs going on here. I don't exactly know what.
Foot.
Right.
I've never heard of anybody getting a new foot.
Not that way, that's for sure. If you're getting a new foot, if you're missing a foot, you don't get like someone else's foot. You typically like get like, you know, a fake foot or like a, you know, like a mechanical foot or something.
Yeah. So I'm confused by the foot.
Right. I don't know what this is all about, but
well, I do want to point out, and they put it in the previously on segment at the beginning of this episode too, that we're reminded that Tony Check did tell his brothers that they needed to work with the piece of shit Irish cop.
Okay.
Which is obviously McCrae.
Yeah.
So McCrae is in cahoots with the Check brothers, is what we know about him.
And right now we're saying that he's the one that shot Aaron, and he's also the one that shot Dana.
That's what the ballistics tests are saying. I don't know. I'm not sure if we should believe that or not.
No, I'm a little skeptical. I think this is too easy. Kind of like suggesting that the checks were the reasons that M died.
Right.
Apparently that's still an open question. I'm kind of curious if we're going to continue to drag on the mystery of who exactly shot Dana, and that this is a very, very much a misdirect.
Who shot Dana? Who killed M? Are they the same person?
Who shot Aaron?
I don't feel like McCrae is the ringleader of all of the evil in this town. He does not seem capable of that.
No, he's definitely too dumb for that, for sure. Like, yeah. I mean,
what's it have to do with Mr. Burned Face Blackdeer?
Right, exactly.
But I do not think that McCrae is the one who's hiring people to sneak into houses and framing Weimar.
Yeah, he's not necessarily a great guy, but I don't think he's capable of that level.
He's like the biggest idiot we've met in the whole show.
Right. So yeah, that's where the episode ends. We got anything else to say before concluding?
That's all I have in my notes. We're halfway through now.
Yes, we are.
This is the halfway point at the end of episode 5. So I don't know where we go from here, but I feel like there's lots and lots and lots of territory to cover still.
Yeah, episode 6 is currently the last one that we have a screener for. I'm presuming that we're going to get more.
I'm sure we will. It might change our timeline for how we record, though. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Right.
Is like, when are we going to get it?
Yeah. We might not get it that much in advance. So whether we'll continue on this schedule or not, we'll see. We're definitely doing it for episode 6, but after that, things might change depending on when they give us screeners. But yeah, I think that's a good place to end it. Unless you have anything else that you want to say.
I think we covered it. I can't wait to see what the back half of the season brings. Tell all your friends to go watch this show because it's really good, and we need to make sure it gets some decent ratings. Watch it on Peacock. Rewatch on Peacock. I promise you're going to get new things out of rewatching these episodes. There are definitely like little hints and details that are worth, a second, maybe even a third viewing. Or if you just want to like let them run, that's cool too. The TV doesn't know if you're paying attention or not.
Right.
And yeah, and then come back and keep listening to us as well. And join my Facebook group because it seems like it's the place to be if you are interested in revival.
All right, we'd like to hear from you. What did you think of this episode? What did you think of this podcast? Stacie can be reached at.
I can be reached on Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at TVN Coupon Talk.
If you like this video and want to support the channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Korman Productions. You can join one of the Korman Productions Facebook pages. You can buy something from the Korman Productions store on Zazzle. You can buy me a coffee. You can join the Korman Productions membership for 99 cents a month, starting at. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video as well as subscribing to the channel. This is Dave and Stacie from Korman Productions, signing off.